How in the world, where did Noah, how did Noah get the lumber to build the ark?
You know what? We about to go there. We about to go there. I just finished the book of Ezekiel, the books of Ezekiel, which is this. You don't hear this too often, but this guy is probably higher tier than Jesus, going off the books. And
Oh,
I only
yeah.
and I'm saying that because some believe that Jesus is God. Some believe that Jesus became what he is as this person of Jesus when he got baptized. That's the moment he became the Jesus that we talk about more. And some believe that he is just this cat who know how to do stuff. But anywhere it go, the book of Ezekiel, oh, the Bible only has it two lines. Ezekiel was here, God took him. That's all you hear about this cat in the Bible. His own book, it talks about where he went when God took him, and it talks about the beginning of everything, the beginning of all that, and it even talks about what happens in Revelation. And if I recall right, I think it even talks about what happens after Revelations when the after everything has been reset. Which I think that's kind of weird to say the world is ending when the book says it resets.
Since, yeah.
But I guess reset can mean it ended something, it restarted or reset. So we could leave that as what it is. But where did they get? I mean, how did they become so sophisticated in the Bible? How did Noah? I mean, yeah, Noah get the lumber or know of the lumber of this and this and this and that. According to the book of Enoch, that time span between Noah, when the book started talking about Noah, and
Moses.
the time and Cain, the time span
Okay.
between Cain killing his brother and Noah. If I recall right, too, like soon after Jesus, God chastised Cain for doing what he did to his brother, it goes off into this tangent of who begat who. They begat this, that person begat these people, and these people begat that and that, up until they got to Noah. The Bible doesn't explain what happened to these people. It just said who begat who, and then Noah came, and now we're talking about Noah and anything after Noah. The book of Ezekiel explains that, but it glances. The Bible does glances over those people, meaning that those giants that was mentioned in the Bible, that was part of the group of the begots. And those angels or the fallen ones, what they call it, the son of God versus the son of man, which is humankind, son of God, which is the angels, the cherubim, whatever you want to call them. When it make note that they came down, defiled women, made women their own, they begat the giants. That's pretty much in a nutshell of what the Bible says about them. Now, that time span I told you about, the book that we not get some explanation on that is that those angels that came down to defile mankind, per se, did a whole lot more than just create giants from these women. Well, one of them taught us how to use the minerals of earth to create weapons and clothing and all that stuff. Another one taught us how to cultivate. Another one taught us magic. So according to the Bible, magic really does exist as a thing. And it also make note of that too about the people who Moses was going back and forth with in front of the Pharaoh. They were doing magic. Apparently, Moses wasn't. Apparently, but that's what it. I would like to say that's the same thing. Magic and that was the same thing. Anywho, that's how humans became sophisticated. Those particular angels. But here's something that's not as clear to me because these people were actually doing things prior, these angels showing them things. They already was building things, knowing how to grow stuff. I'm assuming this knowledge got passed down from Adam because he was in the garden doing things, growing things. Also, I've been going through right now. I'm going through the Book of Jubilee again, which is I forget which variation of Christianity
It's Jubilee.
who believe yeah who's a Jubilee, but Jubilee ain't nothing but Genesis.
Okay.
It gives more details than Genesis does, but it also that version of the whoever Bible's Genesis. Genesis said that Adam and Eve, well, Adam and Eve were not created in the garden. They were created outside of the garden. It wasn't until about a month later they got put in the garden. Well, Adam did. About a week or two later after that, Eve did, came aboard, got let into the garden. Genesis doesn't really tell us anything of the time span that took place.
Right.
It makes it seem like they were just created just moments ago and got kicked out.
And then they got kicked out. Yeah.
Exactly. But the Book of Jubilees says that they were in there for 7 years
Mm.
before they got kicked out. Also, one of those angels were supposedly the one that Eve got deceived by, not the
Mm-hmm.
devil. This particular angel is not the devil or
Mm-hmm.
Satan
The serpent or whatever it was
or,
supposed to
or the
be.
serpent.
Mhm.
Yeah, going back to the sophistication of how sophisticated these humans were to be in the era of life, or the let's just say that yeah, the era of existence, for you to know how to do these things without being taught to you. Wow, to that. Thanks a lot, Bible, for teaching us everything that we're supposed to know about this basic instructions of before leaving Earth. BS. Whoever came up with that junk is retarded because ain't nothing basic about this freaking Bible.
Nothing basic about it.
Nothing
There's
basic
nothing
about
basic
it at
about
all.
it. Mm-mm.
It's not even instructions in there. It's not
No.
even instructions. I do believe the Bible is instructions on how to enslave. That's one of my theories. It's instructions on how to enslave, but it doesn't really give instructions. Hey, go about this step, then you do this. That's what I mean by instructions. But if you read it, it's giving you the ins and outs on how to enslave life
Mentally.
mentally and physically, extremely physically. It speaks
Extreme
of this 400 years of enslavement that
movement
we preach about us
was
in modern
being,
times.
yeah.
So even back then, this is back then before the 2000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I had to rethink this whole thing about what I just told you about the civilization. I thought at first Enoch was talking about a civilization prior Adam and Eve. Now, it does speak prior the earth and the universe, supposedly. It does speak upon that, but not necessarily a civilization prior Adam and Eve. It does states about Adam being the first one still to be created.
Okay.
But when I listen to it again, I'm realizing that it's talking about that gap in between. I told you about Cain's death. I mean Abel's death and Noah. It talks about that because after that, it even speaks where the angel Michael, Gabriel, and them, the hierarchy angels who told God that these angels did this. That's where before recently, that's where I always had the assumption or the thought process of that God is not all knowing like he's perceived to be, because he didn't know that these angels had made a pact.
Mm.
Yeah, they made a pact to do this. Matter of fact, one angel who was the leader of this whole ideal of doing what they're doing, the other ones had second thought it, and then he was like, "See, nah, I don't know, I don't want to do this by myself. Y'all gonna make me get all in trouble by myself. So we need to come up with a pact that we all gonna do this job." God didn't know about that, but he's supposedly all knowing.
Oh no. Yeah.
I think more so he gives the perception of all knowing because he's been told everything that's happening at the time. I can't even say at the time that is happening because giants and all that stuff was already roaming the earth and all this stuff before they took notice that giants started to turn on mankind. And that's when God told one of them to go tell Noah to prepare this ship, prepare this boat, because he about to go take out the earth and all this stuff.
Okay.
But this the last thing that tripped me out. The first lie that God told was, "You gonna surely die if you partake of whatever this tree of knowledge is. You gonna surely die." That's what the Bible says. You gonna surely die. Now, here's where that gets loopholeish, and I think all of it is loopholeish. The fact that you're believing in God to me is a loophole to make yourself believe in God. But in the book of Jubilees, the Bible takes out these two words, the and day. That the and the day makes it not be a lie according to God's duration of time, well, where he's at. The book of Jubilees says Adam died 70 years prior of being exactly 1,000 years old. And they said that he died within the day that he partakes of the tree, which is the tree of knowledge. They call it the tree of wisdom in the book of Jubilees, also in the book of Enoch as well. I knew this before, or at least I heard about it somewhere down the line in the New Testament of the Bible. I just couldn't remember where. But to make God out to not be this liar that I still assume he is, but on that particular lie, it's a loophole to it with the day. One day of Jesus' time span of time is 1,000 of our
1,000
years.
or years. Yeah.
So God, according to the book of Jubilees, he wasn't lying when you die, you shall surely die, which again, we're all walking around here right now, not dead, or he didn't die, they just got kicked out. So he didn't die. To me, that was a lie. Turns out he Jesus, God wasn't lying. I keep saying Jesus, but according to people, they're the same person. Or at least Jesus is one crazy cuckoo because he was talking to himself in that freaking forest. But yeah, that thousand year span of human life at that time, God wasn't lying. According to the book of Jubilee, he died within the day you partook of the Bible. The book of Jubilee said, "You shall surely die the day you take of this." The Bible leaves out those two words, the and day, which causes all this commotion of why people not taking the time out to think about why they believe in whatever it is they believe in. So that was wild. That was wild to me. That's why I say I find people who believe in religion way more interesting than the actual religion themselves. That's why I find it. It's just entertainment to me. It's a piece of entertainment to me. Like I really
Yeah.
don't understand how can you not perceive this as entertainment when you absolutely know you don't know this. And you absolutely know this 10 out of 10 times. 10 out of 10 times you don't know this is to be certain. But I guess that's what hope is supposed to be.
Yes. Hope and faith.
Yeah, but hope is not certain though. So, but yeah,
It again that I've
yeah,
learned. I've learned that that's a subject that I don't get into discussions with people because I'm not getting ready to sit here and argue about something that you don't know that's something for certain. I'm not getting ready to get into that with you. I'm not
we
getting
can
ready. We're
talk
not getting ready. We
about
can
that,
talk
but
about it,
arguing with you,
but then I'm not getting ready to argue with you about something that you've been convinced
convinced.
something that you've been convinced is true or facts, but you have no proof.
I'm not even gonna argue with you because I'm not totally right about it. And I'm not even, and I could be probably 100% about it.
Right. I don't know.
Exactly. We
Yes.
have no choice. We have no choice but to accept what it is for the time being.
Yes.
But believing in it to the degree of that's why I think about imagination so much. Like imagination is your everything because that's essentially what manifestation is for one. Imagination.
Yes.
You imagining it
Imagining
first,
it
and then you supposedly speaking it into existence.
manifested. Yes.
manifesting in it. So imagine